let's just be real honest. Most commercial real estate brokers, not you, okay, but most...
Tell the truth. You.
Maybe you.
It may be you.
You're going to be making prospecting calls. You so know that you're going to be leaving voicemails.
Check in, see if my services may be of use to you.
If you're going to script a great voicemail, here's what I would put in it.
Hey, this is Timmy Barron with Barron Commercial Group. Hey, this is Timmy Barron from Barron Commercial
That
Group.
is a lot different. There's one particular broker who every time that guy calls him, he takes a call. Every time. That broker does a few things well. One, I'm just thinking about like the mental triggers that you can craft into a voicemail. Now that's a real reason to call him back. What's the first thing you look at when you pull up a voicemail? We are trained to lie to salespeople. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks. It would just be effective. There's a point in time where you're taking the call, and I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, with some manners, but I'm going to threaten you every time. Look, if you were to do that once a week for an hour, the whole company would take off. Yeah. And it builds the culture of prospecting into your business.
Welcome to Commercially Speaking. I'm Timmy Barron, ADHD.
I'm Bo Barron, CCIM.
And Bo is teaching me everything he knows about commercial real estate because I'm an actor-comedian.
Yeah, and you're essentially the surrogate, the sit-in for all our listeners.
That's right.
They can just pretend they be you having a conversation with me about commercial real estate.
That's right. And I will ask the stupid questions.
Hey, I got to tell you before we get into the card trick.
Yeah.
I was just in Nashville for the CCIM annual governance meetings.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's a bunch of committee meetings and people ask me about you all the time.
Really?
Is your brother here? Is your brother here?
Is he always with you?
He just follows around. I've got him in his crate in the room. But that's in funny. Retrospect, we missed an opportunity for you to actually come to one of these because it was in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was so close. Like the next one's in Houston, and then there's one in Miami, and then in Vancouver. Like it's not all that close.
It's a board meeting?
It's like a governance meeting. Like budgets are approved, the committees meet. You know, we did a big event for the CCIM Foundation, which I'm on the board of, and raised $100,000 for scholarships for veterans and
nice
diversity students, and that's good. Really, really cool thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to go with you to one of those and stay in the crate. Sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Budget approved.
It was a lot of fun, but like Jim Rosen said hi. He's a big fan of the podcast. In fact, his wife is so sweet, and they're in St. Louis. And she was telling me, she's like, sometimes I'll call him and I'll hear you guys in the background and I'll have to tell him, turn that podcast off.
That's great. All right, cool. Well, to start this off, I got Batman cards.
How's it? Oh, I see it now.
See it? You see the Batman?
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And they're very cool. But to start out, I'm going to have you shuffle the deck however you like. And I'll take it. I'll make a prediction. And we'll go from there.
The Queen looks like Hillary Clinton.
There's a few of them, of the Queens. I'm not sure who it is. Because these are from the Christopher Nolan ones. Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to make a prediction here. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to start to discard here, and you just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Great. Now, I want you to cut this wherever you want, and what you cut, put right in the middle.
That was very specific.
Yeah, there we go. Great. Now, the rest of that, I'm going to flip this like this. I want you to take that pile, put it on top, just like I did there, creating a cross so we know where you cut to there. If that makes sense. Okay, cool. Now, do you know how many cards are in this pile?
No.
Okay. Do you know how many cards are in this pile?
No.
Okay. Well, let's see what you cut to anyway. 3. Now I want you to take this deck, pick it up, and you're going to spell out, since a 3 came up, I want you to spell out 3. And deal them out face down. Face down, right?
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So T, H, R, E, E. Now would it blow your mind if this was a 3.
That'd be kind of cool.
Aha!
Oh.
Now, we got to see if my prediction was correct. Three of a kind. I don't like the way this is ending.
No, okay, that's...
Yeah. Well, you still... there's another 3 in here somewhere. You still got some cards there. Why don't you flip over the top card?
This top card right here?
Yeah. Let's just see what it is. There it is.
Brad's going to like that one.
Brad's really going to like that one. Let's see if y'all can figure that one out. So anyway, still practicing. This is my ADHD hobby at the moment because we like to master something and then move on. In previous episodes, we asked you all to comment specific cities so that you can take that city and do what?
We thought we'd do an episode where we actually run a market analysis. I think the show is mature enough at this point to where when I start talking about an economic-based multiplier, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time explaining it. You can just point to the episode. So I think we've built the building blocks.
I agree.
Mostly to where we can send people to go get the information and I don't have to spend a lot of time explaining what I'm doing. I can just sort of show it.
Right.
So I think that'll be a fun episode.
So we're inviting all of you listeners to comment at a city that you want Bo to do a market analysis of. And we've got 3 already. One from Francisco Sanchez, Murrieta, California. Give the small towns a chance, he said. So that's going in our hat. Boop. We've got Richard Gonzalez, who said Orlando, Florida.
I was just with him in Nashville.
Oh, okay. That would be fun. And then we have Ellis G. Foster Jr. said Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile.
So we've got 3 right there. If you want Bo to do a market analysis for your town, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments now. We'll shout you out. We'll throw it in the hat, and then we'll do a drawing in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Let's say we'll do a drawing when we got at least 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Sounds good.
So that'll happen quickly. All right, sweet. What are you teaching me today?
Well, it was recently we were talking, and the subject of voicemails came out.
Yes.
So I thought we'd do a little episode here on some best practices in leaving voicemails.
Yay.
And if you're going to talk about this, the first question is this. Do you leave them at all? I don't know that there's a right answer here. So like I'm literally interested in what do you think?
Well, I think is there a specific context? Like, are we talking in the context of I'm reaching out to you because you are a commercial real estate broker and I want to do business with you?
So most of the calls that I get that are prospecting calls are because I own some commercial real estate and either an investor, buyer, or broker are prospecting me.
Ah.
When I'm prospecting, I'm generally calling owners of commercial real estate as a broker to try to win new business. So I'm trying to find and win new business.
Yeah.
So it's in that context, if you're prospecting,
Sure.
if you're trying to win new business or at least find opportunities,
Yeah.
should you leave a voicemail?
So the only time I leave voicemails or when I'm calling a friend or somebody and I want them to have a little piece of recording that they can listen back to and receive a lot of joy or confusion, right? That's my favorite thing about voicemails. I have so many voicemails that I saved for the show that included that phone. But in this context here, I would think, yeah, you should leave a voicemail, quick, to the point, and get out of there. I feel like it would be a wasted opportunity to get a voicemail and not leave.
Like to call somebody, get their voicemail, and not leave a message.
Correct.
Would be a wasted opportunity.
I think so, because otherwise you wouldn't call the person back if you didn't know who they were. Like, they've got to know who you are. But if your voicemails aren't good, then no, don't leave a voicemail. What do you think?
Well, let me kind of present the arguments on both sides.
Okay, great.
All right. If you're prospecting by phone, dialing for dollars, most of the time, the main outcome of a prospecting call is to generate a meeting. Some of the killers of this, like sometimes you get somebody that wants to talk. Let's schedule a meeting so I can get on to the next call. Like, you don't want a 20-minute conversation because you could have made 30 other calls. And so this is somewhat of a numbers game. And the main argument, I think, against leaving a voicemail is it takes time to do it, where you
Right.
could be calling the next person. You're not a great test case because you don't pay a lot of attention to your phone. And like returning calls, you may just not do it. You may just not notice or something.
Yeah.
But for most business people, I wonder, and maybe you can tell us in the comments, like if I get a phone call and they don't leave a voicemail, for me, 100% chance I'm not calling them back. Now, I have some friends where we don't leave each other voicemail, right? I don't need a voicemail. They can
Right.
tell me when I call back or whatever. Or if somebody leaves me a voicemail and they're on my team or whatever, I'll just call them back without listening to the voicemail.
That's what I do most of the time.
Yep. But in the context of prospecting, I'm generally in the camp that says, leave a voicemail. I always eventually look at the text translation of the voicemails. And I need to know a few things right off the bat or no way I'm calling back.
Right.
And we'll get into those in a minute. But I would suggest to people who are trying to build their business using the phone, leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to do that, do it well.
Yeah, get good. Yeah.
There's this awesome quote, and I've heard variations of this, and I don't know who said it. The quote goes like this: you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. I like that.
That's great.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so great. That's a great quote for actors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big time.
In terms of like how you prepare to deliver a line or be in a scene or whatever, isn't there a point like you read the script, you get a feel for the overall story, and then you start probably to center in on your character, and you're actually at some point going to start memorizing the lines. And then you learn the lines so well
You have to.
that it isn't rote memorization anymore.
That's right.
It becomes more like a part of you, and you get to deliver the line in a very, very real and authentic way, even though it's, guess what, completely fake.
Right.
Like acting is story lying.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you're stepping
Right.
in the shoes of somebody else. But like when you leave a voicemail, I've heard people, I'm not going to script it. I don't want to sound
Scripted.
rote,
Yeah.
scripted. What you need to do is understand that if you're making calls, and if you're in this business and a broker or an investor or whatever, you will be making calls. You'll be making calls to people you don't know, and you will get their voicemail. If you make 50 calls in a day and you leave 30 voicemails, which is possible, and 2 people call you back, that's a win.
Yeah.
And if you create the script that you want, that gives you the best chance at getting somebody to call you back, giving them a real reason to call you back, then you have to prepare to deliver that script so well or so many times that when you deliver it, it's as natural as anything else.
Yes.
And there's a point where you get to that.
Yes.
And that's where the industry completely falls on its face. Commercial real estate.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many bad voicemails I get. You want to hear a really, really bad one?
I do. I do.
have.
I do. Before you scoot through that, because I do want to have something to say. Like what you said is so true when it comes to acting. You have to know the script backwards and forwards in your sleep. The goal is to end up not acting.
Yes.
Right? And I don't think many people realize how the best actors in the world know how much preparation they've got to have those lines backwards and forwards so they don't have to think about it. So when it comes to this, if you're going to have a script for a voicemail, you have to it takes time doing it over and over and over and over until it's in there. But once it's in there, it's like from the crawl to the walk. Once you're walking, you're not thinking about it anymore.
Well, this 102 class that I teach, I think I've taught it 21, 22 times now. And if I think back to the first couple of times I taught the class, if somebody asked me a question, they could knock me off course to where I'd have to like turn around and look at the slide deck and remember where I was, or I'd forget about what came next. It's like I'd fishtail through it a little bit. Now, man, we can chase a rabbit if we need to, and I know exactly where to come back to.
Yeah.
Because I've done it enough times. I've got enough reps where This is why I don't want to learn how to teach another class. As an instructor, you can pick up a second class.
You have to go through that process of...
I'm not prepared at the moment
Yeah.
to go through that kind of brain damage and work again to get to that point.
Right.
But anyway.
It takes a while to get to that level.
It does.
Same with musicians or music. You know, when I'm learning a new song on the piano, I forget how hard it is at the beginning. Because the other songs that I know now, you don't even think about it. You just get down, boom, boom, boom. But that was all hard at first. I like this.
Yeah. So here's a bad...
I think about it often. Bad voicemail.
Hi, this is Troy calling, the commercial real estate broker. Please give me a call back at 085-2463. Calling to check in, see if my services may be of use to you. Give me a call back if so. Commercial real estate broker.
Oh my goodness.
5
He's saying nothing.
2463. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. If you could give me a call back at
Why on earth would I want to call and see if his services would help me in any way?
Yeah.
That's the only thing he said other than his name and commercial real estate broker.
Yeah.
He couldn't have talked slower.
Ah.
It sounded like he was on muscle relaxers.
That's
something.
right, yeah.
I mean, there was nothing in that call that made me want to do anything other than
sleep,
save it, so I can use it as an example of what not to do later. You know,
right.
And I probably got that call 2-3 years ago, and I've used it as an example of how not to do it. I mean, he made you want to go to sleep.
But for anybody listening right now, I did not edit his voice at all. Yeah. That I did not slow it down. It sounded like, you know, those Jimmy. I think Jimmy Kimmel does this, where he'll take a clip of Trump and just slow it down. And it just sounds like drunk Trump. Because when he goes off the cuff, it's just ridiculous. The way he phrases everything. Mm-hmm. And you slow it down. It's great. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's so funny. But that's what
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's so funny.
It does. It looks like he modulated his voice down and then made it slower. And then, I mean, just...
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Do you have any more bad ones?
No.
I could just listen to
I was looking for some other ones.
I could make fun of bad voicemails all day.
This one might be. I think this one was okay.
Hey, Bo, my name is I work for a company called Marcus and Millichap, a commercial real estate firm. I'm on a self-storage team. I've got some self-storage inventory I'd love to share with you and ultimately introduce myself and maybe one day, do some business with you. And like I said, I work for Marcus and Millichap. If you would, just give me a call back. My cell is 646. Thanks so much.
All right. Now, that one's pretty decent.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
But he made some mistakes, but it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
It was clear, easy to understand. He spoke at a brisk pace. Nothing about that made me sleepy.
That's right.
He had some energy. He did have some and stuff, so it sounded pretty natural, but like he could tighten it up. That was 31 seconds. What's the first thing you look at when you pull up a voicemail?
The transcript.
The first thing I look at is how long is it?
That's right, yes.
And the shorter, the better.
Right.
A mistake that he made is he didn't research me at all.
Oh.
The reason I know that is because he told me he was a commercial real estate broker.
Oh, right.
And if he had looked at my LinkedIn profile in 5 seconds, he would know I'm a broker. I certainly know who his company is, even though I probably never heard of him. But he also said a few things, and words here really matter. Like, if you would just call me back, is what he said.
It sounds desperate.
Well, desperate is overstating it, but it's on that side of the spectrum.
Right.
You know, like those modifiers and qualifiers generally create weaker language.
Yes.
Just use the smallest amount of words possible. And this is why scripting it really helps you dial it in, not waste 1 single second. Mm-hmm. Probably could have been 7 or 8 seconds shorter, which would help his rate, whatever metric he's measuring, that will help.
Yeah, but compared to the other guy, it sounded like, oh, here's an example of a good voicemail. Just compared to how bad that first one was. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But no, I see. It wasn't bad. It seemed like just an average voicemail. It was
probably even a little better than average.
Right. Yeah.
But I would say if you're going to script a great voicemail, here's what I would put in it.
Okay.
All right. The first thing the listener needs to know right away, and now we generally will read the text transcription, which means you need to speak clearly, which I'm not great at, naturally.
Oh, really?
From Kentucky.
Yeah, I like that. I like that there. A little this here, a little that there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that's stuff.
A little this here. I like that.
So I'm cognizant of that. If people are relying on the transcription now to decide if they're actually going to listen to the voicemail, you want the transcription to actually work.
Yes.
So clear, concise.
Yeah. And be careful too, because some people could tend to overcompensate and be like, "Hi, I am Timmy. I'm a commercial real estate broker," right? And then you sound like that you can really.
And the second voicemail we listened to, he pronounced Marcus and Millichap.
Yeah.
He over-enunciated it, probably because people struggle with Marcus and Millichap.
Which was great.
I think he did that well. But
yes.
Over-enunciate, because you want the text to catch it and deliver that information.
Sure.
But right off the bat, I need to know, as the listener, who you are, who you're with, and why are you calling. You can accomplish that in 5 seconds, but you need to check the box. Hi, my name is Bo Barron. I'm with Barron Commercial Group. You need to say that with energy and pace.
Mm-hmm.
Not super fast, but with some pace, and it needs to be enunciated well. Like, that's the obvious part.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's a reason to call you back. Now, do you remember the reason the second one gave me?
No, I don't.
He has inventory he'd like to share with me.
Huh.
So I own self-storage.
Yes.
And he's telling me I've got some listings of self-storage that I'd like to share with you.
Okay.
The presumption there is I might want to buy some more. And he's got something valuable for me. He's got some listing. Now, that's a real reason to call him back.
Right.
Like, that was well done.
Yeah.
And then he said, and to introduce myself, and hopefully we'll get to do some business in the future.
That's a good touch. And to introduce myself.
Because that's why he actually called. That's the truth.
The truth.
And I can't stand it when I hear a voicemail that I've got something I want to share with you, blah, blah, blah. No. You're calling me because you want to sell me something or you want a meeting. I like it when somebody leaves a voicemail. Hey, I'm calling to schedule a meeting so I can deliver something of value to you.
Right.
Like, that's actually the truth.
Right.
I really, really like the truth in a voicemail instead of this salesy stuff that ends up being like, and we're trained to not believe salespeople in any way.
Right.
You know how I know this?
How?
All right. Imagine you walk into Best Buy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That always puts a smile on my face, too.
Yeah. Something about it.
You don't even know what you want to see. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, Blue Shirt walks up to you.
Yes. Yep.
And asks what? What's he going to ask?
Can I help you find something today?
Yes. And what are you going to say?
I'm just looking.
Just looking.
Just looking.
We are trained to lie to salespeople. Now, you might just be looking, but there's a real possibility that most people that walk into a store are actually looking for something.
Right.
And they could get that person to help you, but we're trained to, like, push away salespeople and not believe them and lie to them.
Right.
And we do it all the time. Every time we say just looking, every so often, just looking is probably the truth. But most of the time it's not. Can I help you find something? Now, see, salespeople should never ask that question.
Right.
They should ask.
What are you looking for? Right?
Something that's more
specific.
Don't ask a yes/no question that you can just, I'm just looking. No,
right.
Thanks, blah, blah. You know, like, change the question. You'll change the answer.
Yes.
You know? But anyway, tell the truth while you're calling to introduce myself, blah, blah. But then you want to offer them something. If there's a sale in a neighborhood, say of an office building, it would really be a good idea for me to call on the next day or that afternoon of the sale. Call every other office building in that neighborhood and say, look, we had an office building close in your neighborhood today. And if you didn't notice, it'll give you a really good indication of the value of your building. I'd just like to share that information with you. If I'm a building owner, and you're offering me a comp that helps me understand the value of my building, something that was so recent I couldn't have found it any other way, and that's really valuable. And I'm going to appreciate that. And that'll probably trigger some reciprocity. I might actually meet with you for that information.
Right.
You know? So that's the something of value. So it could be a piece of information or a comp. It could be something like an offer. It might just be to share what other people like him are doing in the market. We've had a number of clients that have recently used this strategy. That triggers some things other than reciprocity. Like, one, it validates I'm talking about my other clients. The underlying idea there is I have other clients.
Right.
Therefore, I'm good at what I do.
Right.
Okay. It also triggers this idea of community. Oh, you'll like this.
Okay.
Think about when we were kids. Where do we go after church?
The country club?
The country club. Now, when we walked into the country club for Sunday brunch,
Yeah.
describe the room. Can you see it in your mind?
Yeah, I can.
What did the people look like?
Like the people, yeah, all dressed up.
Hats, sundresses.
Right.
You know, what if our family walked in jeans and Van Halen t-shirts? Like, how would that have felt for our family?
And everybody would have felt weird. I would have felt just at home.
You would have felt fine, but
yeah.
like it would have been very awkward because we were breaking the norms
Right.
of the community. If you're a property owner, you're in a community of owners. And if other people are doing things and I'm not, that can trigger FOMO. That can trigger these community norms.
I don't know the exact statistic, but people tend to want to do what other people are doing.
So sprinkle in a little bit of social proof, sprinkle in a little bit of FOMO, sprinkle in a little bit of
Truth.
Reciprocity.
A lot of truth.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about like the mental triggers that you can craft into a voicemail.
Yeah. What does reciprocity mean?
Because you did something good for me, I'm naturally leaning in your direction. I'm going to want to return the favor.
Right.
Or
right.
return a favor. That's what reciprocity is.
I owe you one.
So if you lead with value and you're giving something right off the bat, it'll trigger reciprocity and they'll be more likely to call you back, meet with you, whatever the case may be.
Okay, cool.
But that's what reciprocity is, and it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Just make sure you check those boxes.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, name, company, why you're calling, tell the truth, and then give a real, concise reason why somebody would want to call you back.
And one thing you mentioned, but we didn't spend too much time on, was that this dude didn't, the second voicemail we listened to didn't research you. So doing research on the person you're calling is very important because you can drop in a bit of knowledge that you know who they are.
Now, here's the argument against the research. If I'm going to try to call 200 people in a week, that's a lot of time spent on research. So what do? You have Alice do it.
Oh, yes. Sure.
And she can take your call list. Like, you guys get your own Alice. We've got our Alice.
Yes, which is a
Get your
virtual assistant, executive assistant, for those of you that don't know.
Yes. So Alice goes in and researches this. And I would just train her to not say, but when you're looking at these people, they're on the list because they're owners of properties. But I want to know their profession.
Yeah.
All right. I want to know where they go to school. I want to have a feel for their age. Maybe if they're married, if that's easy. And if I can just know a few things like that, how similar or different they are from me. If they're a broker, I would speak to them a certain way. If they're attorney,
right.
I'm gonna assume that they have certain bodies of knowledge.
Well, I got a couple tips.
All right, let's hear them.
When you put a smile on your face, even though it might feel fake, that does wonders to the sound of your voice. Instead of saying, "Hey, this is Timmy Barron with Barron Commercial Group. I just want to give you a call, blah, 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 blah." And it's way different than, "Hey, this is Timmy Barron from Barron Commercial
That
Group."
is a lot different.
You just throw on a smile.
Yep.
Just put that smile on your face. When we smile anyway, our whole body, our brain is like, "Oh, he's happy." It can improve your mood all the time. But especially if you're doing calls. With voiceover work, when we do voiceovers all the time, most voiceovers for commercials, throw the smile on your face and it just changes everything.
Now, how often when you're doing voiceovers, will you do it sitting or standing?
I prefer to stand.
I suggest, and I've suggested for years now, that when we're making calls, we do it on our feet. When I'm standing, it's like I'm amped up 10, 15%.
Yes.
Just a little bit on the energy. And that helps me because I can sound low energy. And I generally pace.
Yes,
in my office
same. I pace.
with a bat.
Oh.
I have a bat.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, but I like having something in my hands.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be on a really important call and I'll drop that thing and it sounds like a bomb going off in my office. It's like, but anyway, I like having a bat in my hand and I like pacing.
Yeah, I love to pace. All my phone calls I'm pacing or walking. Is there more we're hitting on the voicemail?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to keep it kind of simple here because look.
Nice and simple, but there's a couple things that I want you to bring up. But what were you about to say?
You're nailing the obvious. If you're going to be making prospecting calls, you so know that you're going to be leaving voicemails or you're going to have the opportunity to.
But one thing that you mentioned previously when voicemails got brought up was gamifying it. Will you explain what you explained before of how you can make it fun? Because when you are having a good time, you're going to sound better. It's going to feel better. And it's going to flow out more naturally.
Yeah. So if you're in an office with other agents, I would suggest you do what we would call like a call blitz. And let's block off an hour. Let's everybody do the prep work, have your call list ready. And for an hour, everybody, all the brokers in the office, they're making calls. All right. Mm-hmm. So you can gamify that 1,000 different ways. One way is who can get to 10 no's first.
Yeah.
That's actually hard to do in an hour. And, let's say you average 7 no's to every 1 yes.
Right.
It's like, well, get me through these no's as quick as possible so I can get to that yes on the other side.
Right.
It changes your mindset a little bit. It's fun to compete. Most people in this business are hyper competitive anyway.
Yes.
That makes it fun. And look, if you were to do that once a week for an hour, the whole company would take off.
Yeah.
And it builds the culture of prospecting into your business. Because let's just be real honest. Most commercial real estate brokers, not you, okay, but most...
Tell the truth. You.
Maybe you.
It may be you.
They tend to be kind of on the lazy side, and they would much rather use their relationships and their network to gain business than to go out and pursue the business that they want and do the hard work of getting rejected and getting hung up on and getting yelled at by prospecting by phone so they could try to find and win the business that they want. That's hard work. It's not fun. But you can make it fun. And you can build that into the culture of your company. And then when things go bad in the market, you can pick up market share because you're still pursuing the business that you want and not whining in the office with your feet up on the desk about how the phone's not ringing anymore.
I do got to say, like with gamifying it, you can do whatever rule you want. But I just think try to get this many no's is the best rule. Because it's the easiest thing to do, and it makes the rejection the thing that you're trying to get, rather than the thing that you hate and why you don't want to call. I just think that's so great.
It also tends to rinse you of the stink of desperation.
Yes.
And just the whole tone of the call, if you're not desperate, is just a huge step up. Huge. Because you can hear it in somebody's voice. It's almost like the smell seeps through the phone.
Yeah.
When somebody's desperate and needy. So you want to hear some interesting hacks and weird little tricks about?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I've got a couple. One I shared before, but this was kind of my favorite thing. A lot of times when you're prospecting on somebody, it's easily 7, 8, 9, 10 calls before you can get them on the phone. What I would do is I'd hang up on myself. So I'd be a little bit more excited than normal.
Yeah.
Hey, Timmy, Bo Barron Commercial Group. The reason I called, and just call me back. I've got something. And I'd hang, like we got cut off.
Right.
Gimmicky, whatever. Yeah. But that seemed to work pretty well. All right?
I can see somebody hearing that and being like, that's what I'm going to do every time.
Don't do it every time.
No.
You might call somebody once a week. And after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe, there's no hint of it. And so maybe the next voicemail, a little tongue-in-cheek, you're like, hey, it's Bo Barron again with Barron Commercial Group. At this point, I'm demonstrating my persistence, which could really work for you in the future, but give me a shout back.
Right, right.
Or just, you change it up and make it a little, you want to ride that line of becoming annoying.
Yeah.
You want to demonstrate how resilient and persistent and
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, but that's also some of the values that make great top producing brokers, and it'll benefit the client to have that kind of persistence working for your benefit. So you want to demonstrate that without being totally just annoying.
Yeah.
But I heard of a guy one time, and I've never tried this, but he would he'd call somebody 8-9 times in a row.
Oh. Yeah.
Because look, my wife and I have a deal. If she calls me and I can't take the call, I won't answer, and then I'll call her back when I can.
Yeah.
If she calls me right back, I always take the call.
Yes.
That's the signal, hey, I need you to pick up.
Yeah.
Okay? I always do it. Now, most of us, we don't recognize the number, we probably won't pick up.
Right.
They call right back. Maybe you're like, dude, I can't take the call.
Right.
They call back a third time. Like, there's a point in time where you're taking the call.
Right. Yeah.
And you're probably
going to be angry.
Yes, going to be very irritated.
Right.
And so this broker, he had two skills. He was unbelievably persistent, and he had the ability to turn an annoyed person into his friend in about 10 seconds.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And he goes, look, I know I just totally annoyed you, but you're going to want to take this call. And that guy set a record for his office by how many meetings he could set up in a single month.
Yes.
Using that. He didn't leave a message. He kept calling until
they picked up. Yeah.
8-9 times.
Oh my goodness.
In a row.
And that probably took a while to get confident to do.
Now, I'm not even suggesting that.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of here's some other. Now, I've heard another method that goes like this. If you know you're probably going to have to call 7 or 8 times, well, let's create a system to where the voicemails kind of build on each other.
Oh yeah.
You're just giving the pieces of the full voicemail.
Yeah.
And every time you call, you're giving a little bit more and giving a little bit more. I don't really know how effective that is.
Right.
But the one thing that you are doing there is you're telling them when you're going to call them again.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's a threat.
Yeah.
Hey, if I don't hear from you, I'll give you a call in the morning.
Right. I'm going to call you.
It's like, I'm going to keep calling you
right
until you take my call.
Right.
And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, with some manners, but I'm going to threaten you every time. Hey, I'll give you another try this afternoon.
Right.
Hope you have a great day.
Right.
Because I'm going to keep calling.
I'm going to keep calling. I'm going to keep calling. I forget where I heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but it's how I got my second scholarship at University of Memphis, because I was a transfer student. And the scholarships that the full talent scholarships were just for incoming freshmen. But I was not a part of the theater department yet, but I wanted to be, but I couldn't be at the moment because I was a part-time student, blah, blah, blah. But I went in and I just was like, I wanted to talk to the head of the theater department, told my story. They set me up with somebody, talked to them. I just kept going and talking to them. And then they ended up helping me out. And then I was able to audition with the other freshmen, even though I was coming in as a sophomore, and ended up getting that scholarship. But there are many situations where that phrase, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, caused me to keep showing up, keep going, keep, doing it until eventually I got the thing I was out to get.
Well, that brings up another point. There's a buddy of mine in Mississippi who's an investor and a developer, and there's one particular broker who every time that guy calls him, he takes the call every time. That broker does a few things well. One, he always has something valuable for my buddy.
Yeah.
Which is why he takes the call. And he never wants to talk for more than like 3 minutes. Now, I've got some really good friends that when they call, I know it's going to be 30, 45 minutes.
Right.
Now, nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But if I don't have 30 or 45 minutes, I'm not taking the call there. If you can build a reputation of the opposite.
Yeah.
I've got something for you. I'm not going to take more than a few minutes of your time, but it's been valuable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are all things that'll work in your favor.
Because I'm trying to think, for me, if I was doing this or if I was listening to this, how would I be crafting my voicemail, right? And as we're talking through this, like it'd be like, hey, I'm Timmy Barron Commercial Group. To be honest with you, I got something I think is great, and I wanted to see if you'd be interested in it. Give me a call back. Take like 3 minutes.
I would get rid of the "to be honest." That's just words you don't need.
All right. Yes. Right.
I would
get rid of that.
Every word you don't need, I'd get rid of it. And
well, let me try that real quick. Timmy Barron, calling from Barron Commercial Group. I've got something I want to sell you, but I think you'll like it. Call me back. It'll take like 3 minutes. right? Just by taking, to be honest, it was more grounded and more confident.
There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks in the voicemail you just role played there.
Right.
It would just be effective. That's
right.
it.
And that's the goal.
Yeah, and I've never really thought about it, but I like telling them, hey, look, it'll take 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
Better deliver on that, but yes.
Right.
And if it goes past 3 minutes, it needs to be their fault because they want to chat.
Right.
But yes.
That's right. But it's like, if you know the 3 minutes, because the goal really is to get a meeting.
Yeah, it's
right?
not
or
to have the call.
Not to have the call. And so if you can succinct what the value that you're bringing or what you're prospecting for, 2-3 minutes to, to hook them in for the meeting, then we could talk a little bit more with what questions you got.
Yep.
But yeah, you better deliver on that. That's really good.
I really like telling them how long.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really thought about that.
But when you think about the voicemails where you call them back, a lot of times we call them back because it's like, oh, that was a good voicemail. But we really don't think through why. Obviously, we're doing that here. I'd suggest to anybody, who are the people you're calling back, and take note of why that is. And that will very much help you to craft what your voicemails will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and look, I would love to hear from you all, or both of us would.
Yeah.
Like examples of things that have worked for you, or really, really bad examples. Those are always more fun anyway.
Yeah.
But, and throw those in the comments. We can
throw them in the comments. And I want to invite you to go to Spotify, because you can leave us a voicemail on Spotify that we can play on the air. So,
really?
Yes, that's right. You can go to Spotify and you can record audio message to us. So go to Commercially Speaking on Spotify, leave us a voicemail, and we'll rate it. Right? Say you're crafting one. We'll throw it in the shout out.
Just ask us a question.
Ask us a question. Right. Yeah.
We could actually.
Yes,
that's
we
cool.
Can.
I did not know that.
We can. And I've yet to try it out because I don't think anyone's left us one. So will you be the first? Will you be the first? We'll find a creative way to use it and see what works. But hey, this is Timmy Barron calling from Barron Commercial Group. Calling about some storage units. Got some. If you're interested, call me back. Take like 3 minutes.
And your phone number.
Oh, I was going to ask about that. Do we need to leave phone numbers anymore?
All right. The argument against is we all use cell phones.
Right.
But we don't all use cell phones. But even if it is a cell phone, the text thing will often hyperlink it.
Oh.
And you can just click on it.
Oh, okay.
I don't see the reason yet to just not do it.
Right. Okay.
We used to coach people to do it twice, once at the beginning and once at the end.
But do you do it at the top and at the end?
Yeah, I do it at the end.
Yeah, which made sense then. Another cool thing about our iPhones now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when someone's leaving a voicemail, you can see the transcript as it's happening, and you can actually pick it up, like old-timey little tape.
What do we call those things, though? We didn't just call it voicemail, did we?
I don't know.
Answering machine.
Answering machine. That's right.
An answering machine.
It's answering machine. It was an answering machine.
Yes.
Yeah. If you can listen back to your voicemails.
You can.
Yeah. Listen back
like record them and listen to them.
Yes. Yep. Would you call yourself back?
I mean, see what it sounds like when you're sitting down versus standing up, and see what it sounds like when you're smiling versus when you're not. If you put the work in and you like what you've got, then keep using it. And then after you've used like a version of that voicemail for like 50 times, 75 times, you've done it enough so you can get some feedback. Is this effective or not? Then you can kind of A/B split test it, change it up a little bit. But do it after like 100 voicemails or whatever. Like get enough feedback data. Nobody calls you back in 100 voicemails. Yeah, time to change it up.
Right, change it.
But if you spend a whole day and you leave 17 voicemails and nobody calls you back, and you're like, well, this crap doesn't work. Like you don't have anywhere near the amount of data points to make that conclusion. So do it enough.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's do some announcements and some shout outs.
If you haven't already, our weekly newsletter has
a free weekly newsletter, baby.
It's subscribe.wgbaron.com. I'd invite you to join the mailing list. It's been really successful. Like last week's email had an open rate of like 70.6%.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's great.
And so it sends our episode straight to your mailbox, but it also has about 5 or 6 other business, real estate related stories.
Not all real estate.
Yeah, it's not all. It could just be business, but if you run a business, if you're involved in investing or commercial real estate in any way, then I think this would be valuable for you. It's free. We'd invite you to join us there. The other thing is there is going to be a webinar series starting in the next couple weeks called Currently Commercial, Trending Topics in Commercial Real Estate or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be hosting with the CCIM Institute.
All right.
And the first topics of the first series of webinars, I think it's going to be monthly webinars, is going to be all AI related.
All right.
What's out there? What are the possibilities? What can we be implementing into our businesses to become more effective and efficient, faster, make more money, all these things. We've done a couple episodes on really ChatGPT, but I don't know much about this stuff.
Right.
So we're going to be bringing on people that do know about this stuff.
Awesome.
And really talk about what's working. So if you're interested in that in any way, just keep on the lookout.
Okay, anybody can do that. If not, I'm not a CCIM student or designee or whatever. I can still.
Yeah, you'll just pay a little bit more for it than the members will.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
First one free. What do they have to go to?
I don't even know yet.
Okay, cool.
I don't even think it's set up yet, but
I'll put it in the show notes when it happens.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Currently Commercial. I like that name.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you're on YouTube right now, please hit subscribe, ding that little bell. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Also, just a reminder to put a city or town that you want Bo to do market analysis on, and we'll throw it in our little top hat, and then we'll do a drawing soon. You can leave us a voice message on Spotify, so head over to Spotify at Commercially Speaking.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we will play it on the air. Please leave a review on any of the podcast platforms, but especially on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us out a great deal. We will shout out every review we get, and we every week are choosing a few comments from YouTube that we're going to give some shout outs and throw it out. And one of these is actually a question for you. But yeah, let's get into our shout outs. First one, Nicole Realtor. This was on the Growth Patterns episode. Wrote, enjoyed the episode. I'm prepping for CI 102 test. I'm confident I will nail the questions on growth patterns. And I wrote back, let us know how you did. And she did.
Oh, yeah.
Passed with a 92%. Yeah, baby.
Nice job, Nicole.
Nice job, Nicole. We got one from Leland Herzog from the tax episode. Excellent episode. You can watch that right here.
Thank you, Leland.
Thank you, Leland. Rayford Realty NOLA. This is awesome. This is awesome was a comment left on 4 feasibility tests, which I think is an awesome one and a very underrated episode. You can watch that here. 4 feasibility tests. You do 4 little tests that you can do quickly to see, hey, do I want to pursue this or not? It's fantastic. From our latest episode, or one of our latest episodes, which is stop using adjectives. Mm-hmm. Is that how do you answer the most asked question in commercial real estate? Mm-hmm. And that's where the voicemail, that's where this came from. It's like, prepare for the thing that you know is going to happen. Francisco Sanchez finished 102. This needs to be added to the curriculum. Role playing needs to be added to the 102 curriculum. So anyway, let them know. And then Justin Hart. There's a lot of consonants in the middle of this name. Harstfed. Justin. Great episode. I learned so much from these podcasts. Question from Bo. And he asked about finding a mentor, right? I think he said he was 25 years old. How do you find a mentor? I think you commented back. But I think that is such a common thought.
Sounds like an episode.
It is. I think it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
Well, thanks, brother.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you.
Bye, Ellis. Bye. We'll see y'all next Monday.